stories come dressed as night to plunder dreams, and whispered out to scattered light reflects your mind, splinters facts from fictions. It's dark outside, it's cold in here, there's nothing left but all your fears. You're falling like the moon falls in the sky. There's nowhere to land anyway. Hold me tightly like I was there. Face the things that you don't dare. Whisper softly.
Hi everyone. Today I want to talk about something a little bit rebellious, a little bit edgy, a little bit wild maybe, and something that goes against our very fast-paced culture. I want to talk about a perfect, boring life. And yes, I said perfect. Hi, my name is Raina, and this is Small Retired Life. And on my channel, we talk about all things retirement, living life in our 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and beyond. If you're new, welcome here. Just a little side note, on Friday this week, I will have an extra video, and I'm hoping you can come back and give it some love. Friday is my birthday, and so I thought I'd post on that day. I'm going to show you why a perfectly boring life can be the most wonderful, the most grounding, and the most modern thing in your retirement. So stick with me and I will show you how to make boring your superpower. We all grew up believing that boring and boredom was a problem. If we weren't hustling and producing and doing something all the time and being able to talk about how we're doing all these interesting things, then that became a problem. When you get into retirement, that script is completely flipped around. All of a sudden, you have time and you can do what you want. And if you want to laze around, you can laze around. And productivity is not the conversation. The conversation starts to focus on freedom, the ability to do whatever you want, and to lead your life on your own terms. It's the complete opposite. So in retirement, it's like that slow-paced, repetitive, simple life becomes the new luxury and the new way to live. I'm going to show you in this video why a perfectly boring life can be the most grounded, the most wonderful, and the most modern thing you can do for yourself in your retirement. So stick with me till the end. All right, switch camera angle here because sunbeams are creating chaos in my life. So one of the things that I think would be of benefit is to rebrand the whole concept of boring. Boring is not being lazy and it's not being unproductive. Boring is peaceful, it's wonderful, it's calming. It allows our nervous system just to settle down because it's been on overdrive since 1978. And it's time that we had a chance just to calm everything around us and really focus on life. Boredom allows us to do that. There is something deeply zen about knowing what your day will look like and knowing what to expect. This is not tedious. This is soothing to me. To me, the calm of a routine is like a full body exhale. I get up, I make coffee, I sit in my favorite chair, I stare out the window for an unreasonable amount of time, and I don't care. These are the things that make my life calm and make me feel like I can actually grasp opportunities when they present themselves. I absolutely love having my predictable, boring day. Maybe from the outside it looks boring, but on the inside it's absolute peace. It's like emotional minimalism for the mind. It strips out all of the noise and all that is left is the good stuff. The other reason that I'm really excited about the concept of a boring life is because it has nothing to do with status or having a ton of money. Instead, it's about eliminating the noise. When I was working and raising my family and traveling all over the place for work and just hustling, everything felt so loud to me. I'm not sure if any of you understand what I'm saying because I don't really know any other way of explaining it, but when I was super busy, I always thought that my life was loud. It was like listening to heavy metal, which I don't really like. Now that I'm retired and I have this perfectly boring life, all of a sudden it's quiet. It's like I'm listening to coffee time jazz or something soothing. I think that this truly comes from just having a more predictable and a simpler and a little bit more of an organized life. And yes, some people call it boring, but I would argue that if that's what you're going to call it, then I'm embracing it 100%. A boring day to me is about peace, not having to be anywhere, not having to do anything specific, not having to do what other people tell me, but simply just being and doing my own little thing. Again, some people find that boring, but I actually think it's a luxury. That is the true luxury, to have time and to have a freedom of doing whatever it is that you want to do is actually, to me, the quiet luxury. It's not a bunch of expensive clothes that cost thousands of dollars. That is not quiet luxury. That is obligation, because that costs a lot of money, and to make that money you need to really hustle. Quiet luxury to me is this perfectly boring life that is somewhat predictable but soothing, like a little cozy blanket. A boring life is amazing because it allows your body the room to live and it gives you the opportunity to breathe, and you cannot purchase that with money. To me, there is joy in doing nothing on purpose. Doing nothing is a skill set. You need to learn it because throughout our adult life, we have been taught to always do something, to always be productive. So to do nothing is something that we have to reacquire and relearn all over again. I think it was in the movie Eat, Pray, Love, where there was that Italian phrase, la dolce far niente, which I believe means the sweetness of doing nothing. Now, I didn't like that movie, but that phrase is actually absolutely perfect. There is something sweet and something wonderful about being able to do nothing. And I think one should cultivate that. We now have the luxury of being able to cultivate that phrase. I definitely take the time to just sit outside, listen to the birds, and do nothing. The ability to do nothing and to just be within yourself every now and then, it actually gives you the ability to create some new ideas, to cultivate some concepts of where you want to be, what you want to do. You can't grasp that. You can't grasp the concept of freedom and what it means to you and where you want to go in this new aspect of your retired life if you don't actually just sit still for one moment and think about it. Take your lessons from nature. I mean, trees sit on the same spots for 50, 80, hundreds of years, and no one's telling them to go and do nothing because of course they're trees. But I guess the lesson from nature is that sometimes just being still and doing things slowly and growing slowly and being a little bit boring can turn into something absolutely grand and majestic. Okay, and let's be real. Sometimes a boring life is kind of funny because you get excited about the smallest little things. Like, I'll get excited if I get like a new candle or a new magazine, or if I find a new recipe that's really easy to make and that I enjoy eating the result of it, or going outside and seeing something that's cute, like someone's walking a puppy or whatever. I find that when you allow boredom to come into your life, it lets you be excited again. I think when we have so much stimuli and there's so many things all the time and there's so many stores and so many things to buy, and we're constantly in a consumer mentality when we're working, we have children, we're buying things, we don't even have time to appreciate whatever it is that we're buying or getting or acquiring. When our life is a little bit more boring, we allow excitement about small things to come back in. Things that are perhaps truly gratifying and make us happy, or even just being excited about small, tiny purchases. One of the things I get really excited about, which is kind of silly, but it's just me, I love pretty stationery and I love a great pen. And when I can journal with just the perfect pen into the perfect notebook, that makes me super happy and excited. And I like being able to have that happiness and excitement about smaller things, because I don't want to have to constantly strive for big things and big purchases and huge achievements in order to be happy. I want to be happy and I want to feel fulfilled with the small things. I strive now to build a beautiful, boring routine. I like to get up at the same time. I like to have the same coffee. I like to sit in the same chair and kind of have the same little scheduled things day to day. It allows me to feel peace and it allows room for other creative things. And I do creative things. I knit. I like to cross stitch, something I haven't done for a long time that I've just started doing again. I like to sew. I like to make the odd, nice recipe. I'm not a huge cook, and cooking is not my thing like it is for some people. But when I make something yummy, I really enjoy the process. And the only reason that I think I can do these things and be creative is because my life is fairly predictable and I allow myself the room to do these things. I certainly no longer overschedule, or I try not to. If that happens, it's actually unusual. It's not the norm like it used to be. And I allow for simple pleasures every single day because life is too short. Life is too short to not allow yourself something that makes you immensely happy every single day. Sometimes when someone asks me what I did today, I really don't know what to answer because I feel like I've done nothing, but at the same time, I've done everything. And that is the state of mind I like to be in. When we choose to be boring, we gain clarity, we gain freedom, we gain presence, self-awareness, and self-knowledge. Boring is not an absence of life, it is the presence of self. Another thing is that, did you know that boring is actually trendy? All you have to do is look at the latest reels on Instagram, if you ever browse Instagram at all. And you have all these young people that are striving for this slow life. Maybe it's because it's what I kind of gravitate to on Instagram, but There's all these reels of people, cooking and making some wonderful food, or sipping their cup of coffee in a cozy room, decorating little corners, and just doing these small little things, these small little cozy things that make you feel good. And that basically is what a lot of people associate with a boring life. Yet it's all over social media, and people have to actually work hard to show this simple little moment captured in a reel. And yet we actually are able to have these moments every single day. These moments are not an Instagram reel for us. They are our real life. Let's be honest, we don't need any added stress in our life at this point. Our nervous system does not require another huge adventure. There is a Zen saying, and I hope I get this right, but it basically goes something like this. Enlightenment is not found in excitement, but it's found in daily repetition. What that means to me is that these little things that I do each and every single day, these little scheduled moments that seem kind of boring, but I do them every day. I get up, I make my coffee, I read my financial news, I wash dishes, I clean my kitchen, etc. Those are these rhythms that actually allow me to slow down and allow my brain to grasp all of the things that are truly beautiful. By having a small, boring life, I'm able to see the exciting moments, and I'm able to understand myself a little bit better, because I can look deep into my soul in the quiet times and figure out what truly is important to me. We do not need to chase some big, huge life anymore if we don't want to. We can choose a small, meaningful, retired life. And I believe that is where happiness lives. That's all I have this week. Just a reminder that I have a video coming out Friday. Please give it some love. Otherwise, I will see you soon. Bye.